I'm not doing video. I don't have any camera.
Audio only today.
Yeah, pretty
We
much.
could do it just in the call for the sake of seeing each other's facials.
That's actually true. We could totally do that.
Down.
Which is nice because my apartment's a goddamn mess, so it's perfect.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I got robbed this weekend. Leave me alone.
Oh shit, man, that sucks.
I robbed you this weekend. Leave me alone.
Yeah, well, you didn't steal a lot of good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, camera angle. What the heck? Dude, this is the longest I think my hair's ever been. It's crazy.
Looks good.
I look like a crazy person.
That's okay. Oh,
There we go.
it's a handsome fellow there.
Except my audio device swapped.
We have like different levels of beard too. We have like my shorter full beard, and we got Agro's shorter but trimmed kind of chin strap beard, and then we got clean cut Zill.
Pretty much. All right, let's see. I'm gonna count us down then from 5. You guys ready?
Wait, wait. I'm getting feedback from somebody and getting an echo, which is going to be a problem with the recording.
Okay. Maybe turn down your headphones.
It shouldn't be from me. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, talk a little bit.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I'm Acromagnate. Welcome to the podcast.
You are choppy as fuck right now.
Yeah, you were choppy as a motherfucker.
On your free lunch tonight. I was here.
Yeah, for me it was the I had the stream on very quietly, so that's what it was. All good.
There you go.
We used to have an issue where like even
Am I
with
stopping
earbuds, keep saying words.
You're still choppy. Yeah, you weren't before.
Do you have the stream up? Maybe shut the stream down.
I'll just sometimes the voice software that I use stuff. I'll just do
Yeah,
Is this better now?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We used to have an issue where like if I was leaning this close, they would pick up my earbuds, so I had to like.
Yeah, I have to turn the volume down whenever I stream, but for that.
Yeah. Okay. I think everything's good now.
Yeah, sounds great. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. This is episode 221. I am your host, Killzill. And today I'm here with good old friend, Brad. Say hello, Brad.
Hey everybody! I've been popping in more. This is a problem for everyone that likes listening to the show.
I like it. I'm glad you're here, Brad. And today we also have a new face, or not a face because you can't see them, on the podcast. Goes by the name of Agromagnet
Hello, everyone.
and or Sam 2.0.
Sam Two, that's me. It's weird to hear people talk about this ambiguous guy that I don't know anything about, but hi, everyone.
Howdy.
What up, dude?
So, Agro, tell us a little about yourself. What do you play? What do you like about League of Legends? Who are you?
Well, I'm a guy who joined the LOLA community like 4-ish months ago, something like that. So I haven't even been here for that long, but I try to be pretty active in the community, play a lot of community games, things like that. Former, not quite current, but former tournament champion. What is it called? LOLA champion, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Call it whatever you want, dude. You're the fucking champ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can do whatever I want around here. No, I play mid lane primarily. I also dabble in jungle, mostly Camille right now, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Plays like a lot of the champions. I enjoy playing mid lane. So, but yeah, been playing the game for like 8 years, something like that. Since
Wow.
season 1, 2, somewhere in there. I don't really remember.
Old timer.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
cool, man. We're glad you're here. So,
Dude, fucking welcome and shit.
Yeah, thanks and shit.
Awesome. So yeah, we got another mid laner on here. Let's see. What kind of mid laners do you play? You play like mages and shit? What do you do?
I play. Okay, I'm kind of a meta slave a lot of the time, but when assassins are at all playable, I tend to play those things. So.
Well, that's awesome because we're talking about assassins today. What do you know?
What are
It's almost
those?
like they brought me on for one reason and one reason only.
Wait a minute, what are those?
It's like there was a plan involved. What's an assassin? Is that what you asked,
They're
Brett?
all ninjas. They're all ninjas.
Okay, got it.
You play assassins too, don't you, Brett?
Yeah,
What a coincidence! You're here also. This is great.
who'd have thunk?
Hey,
So today the season started.
yes.
Anybody play a game yet? Anybody do placements at all?
I played a game on my Smurf with Ash E. Lee. It was the first game the first game I played on that Smurf since like October of 2018. So it's been a while.
Yeah, a little
And,
bit.
It was, you know what? Game started off pretty rough. I was 4-0, and we were down, I think, 12 kills to 6 with an 0-5 Ezreal mid against Zoe. But
Jesus, yeah, right. AP
with all-
as?
no,
Okay.
but with our hard work, determination, and stick-to-itiveness, we pulled it out.
Man,
You pulled out?
Stuck to it, huh? That hard.
I stuck in it. I stuck out of it.
And sounds like that Zoe.
And I'm not going to be a dad, so that's pretty good.
Good for you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
way to
congratulations
follow
on
through.
Not being a dad.
Awesome.
Everyone's
I
got to have
played-
dreams.
So yeah, I actually played a game today as well. I played just a
How
moment
did
ago.
it go?
It went terribly, actually. No, it was a
no.
real wake-up call, actually. I jumped into the game, was kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to take it easy. Ended up landing against a Vigar mid, and I was like, yeah, no big deal. Vigar's fine. He's just going to try and farm, get stacks. I can poke him, beat Henri, whatever.
You
No.
guys took it easy, right?
No dice. They had a Twitch jungle, and at level 2, he ganked me, but he showed up in between my tower and me. Like, I went to ward, right, like after I cleared the first wave, and I walked over to ward the brush and river, and then boom, he appeared right behind me. And I thought I could walk away for some reason and not burn flash. Well, that was a mistake, because he totally killed me. And then the snowball just wouldn't stop. So that was
Lesson
awful.
learned for everyone that gets early ganked, flash earlier than you feel like you need to. Just fucking
Yeah.
do it. Don't let the game
Just
end
burn it. Don't start that path, man. Absolutely
Bleach,
not.
Camille, Lee Sin, just flash. Just flash.
Yeah, I was not ready. So I don't know. I did, however, get a provisional rank that was much higher than any starting rank I've ever gotten at the beginning of
How
any
high
season.
was it?
It was gold 4.
Hey!
However, that is the lowest I can go. And honestly, I feel pretty happy with that. So,
I'll tell you, starting off 0-1 with a baseline of gold 4, not too shabby.
yes, I think it'll be fun. I think it's a good foundation to climb. Going to give the kids a chance to deal with my Zillion. And then we'll see where I go from there.
Did you plan on intentionally losing all of your placement games so that you can do a climb series?
No, but that is still an option. That is still something I could consider.
Yeah.
Or
You
one
didn't
for
ruin
one
it by
losses
winning
right
that
now,
first
right?
game. Like an
That's
idiot.
true. That's true. I can follow through with your stellar advice, Brad. That's interesting.
Plausible deniability, right?
Right? Totally.
It was all planned, guys. All planned.
Right. So since the very first loss. Right.
Since before. We've been planning it since all preseason.
Awesome.
God, which was way too long, by the way.
It was pretty long, pretty lengthy. I ended up playing a few too many normal games, I'm afraid. I let myself become a bit of a slacker.
I
But
know you guys have talked about preseason a lot in previous podcasts. I'm catching up to the anti-hype train on preseason.
right. I've enjoyed it. I've actually had more fun playing League, normal games with the community, than I've had when the ranked season was going on. It's been a blast for me. But I needed to tighten the belt and get in shape for fucking ranked because this can't keep happening. I'm not okay with that.
It's like what happens to me about this time every year, where you get around Halloween, Thanksgiving, you're like, I'm just gonna let myself go for the holidays, and then it's fucking March, and you're like, oh,
I'm out of breath
closer
going
to the holidays
upstairs.
starting again. After them having started this time, I gotta. Woo,
And more
boy.
importantly, you're closer to bikini season that you have to get in shape for.
It's true.
Because
Gotta
we
get that
all
beach bod.
stellar in our beach bodies, So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been hoping that they'd make a pool party skin for me, so I really need to.
Pool party Brad. You already have pool party Lisa. How greedy can you be, man?
It's dad bod Leeson is what it is.
Oh, that could be me.
Right?
I'd be so
Right?
good, but I'm not a dad. We just talked about this.
That's true.
Mm.
Can we
Shit.
petition for like dad bod Braum? I will become a Braum one trick if they or any champion like that. I mean, Gragas already exists, but like, I need dad bod.
There needs to be moderation. We need to have something in the middle, right, between Braum and fucking Gragas. So
Maybe that's the first release skin for Silas. Dad bod.
dad bod Silas.
He has like thinner chains because he can't deal with the big heavy ones anymore. He's just given up.
He's got a beer gut.
He's got like 2 child leashes. Right? Not with children attached.
I mean, you could attach children to it.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure the visual is gonna work. Oh Lord.
Yeah, we may have to talk to the design team on that one.
Speaking of Silas, actually, so the champion spotlight for him came out today. Did you guys watch that?
I
did.
did not yet.
No? Okay.
I did, but I'd also watched some Silas gameplay right when he went on the PBE.
Okay.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of that.
Well, good for you doing your research.
My personal opinion seems like he's going to be a little ridiculous.
Just a little bit?
I know that's outside of the trend of recent champion releases, so I'm sorry. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
We've been doing really good Zoe, Nico, things like that. Very balanced on release.
Right. Even the reworks have been really balanced, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
Aurelia,
Aurelia and
stellar
Akali,
design.
no problems at all.
Well, Evelyn's fun to play against, so
Really?
that was sarcasm.
Okay, I was hoping so, but I wasn't so sure.
I
Dear
don't know.
God.
I think the final tournament team, I forget what their name was, the people who just won the recent
The
tournament.
auto attackers, actually.
Yeah, them.
Yeah,
They think that Evelyn's fun to play against.
they do.
Got up to Ponderous Sea Line.
That's true. Did you watch that game?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah. That was rough
it was rough.
for Evelyn.
Well, wasn't some
Yeah,
motherfucker
I mean-
playing for Denny's in that game? Like, Jesus.
Yes,
That is actually true.
Oh boy, lost internet and went to Denny's and like
The unsung hero of the tournament was Denny's.
Fucking-
Denny's Internet Cafe.
Filled a
Flame
shake on his
Blaster, right?
keyboard. It was like, it's fine, guys. He's fucking tying a knot with a cherry stem during the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
what a monster. Absolute madman.
And for those of you, this week is an audio only podcast. That doesn't mean we don't get to talk about each other's wonderful looks. Zill's got a dope fucking hat on. Everyone needs to know.
Absolutely.
When you hear Zill, picture whatever voice, whatever face you match to that voice with a dope fucking hat on. It can be whatever kind of hat you want it to be, just as long as it's dope.
As long as you think it's dope.
That's exactly.
Perfect. All right. Enough distractions. Let's get into some substance here. So we're going to talk about assassins, but in particular, we're going to talk about how to team fight with them. Because, as my understanding is, this is one of the most difficult things to do with assassins. And we're going to kind of be going with, the video series that we've already been following with. We already talked about team fighting in previous episodes, so it's going to kind of build off of that. So, but more from the perspective of an assassin player. So, let's see. First, to kind of recap, so going into the team fighting phase, you have your initial sort of engage, usually by a tank, or there's engage tools involved, right? And then there's a part where the counter engage happens by the enemy team. And this is where things cool down and start to get blown and that kind of thing. And then we enter a second phase of team fighting, which is like the follow-up engage, and what's called the hit tanks phase, in like a traditional front-to-back sort of team fighting. So this is where the ADC is actually trying to hit the front line without getting caught by any particular CC or any burst abilities. It's at this point that the assassin player is typically trying to get a flank or trying to come from behind into the team fight. But they don't want to go in too early, and that is like the primary mistake that most assassin players make. Or it's one of the hardest things for assassin players to deal with, is going into a team fight at the right time. But it's after the follow-up and hit tanks phase, and the next phase, which is where we try to hit the back line.
And last phase assumes that there are tanks in the game, because frequently in solo queue that does not happen.
This is true.
It should happen more.
It should happen more. I kind of...
You could say the non-one-shottable people.
Yeah. Non-one-shottable people, I think, is more accurate. I think bruisers have kind of taken the roles of tanks right now, and that's just because they can outright... they're just really strong right now. Their runes seem to match up with what they are, and the champions that are bruisers seem really overpowered in general. And they can kind of take out tanks one-on-one in lane phase and 1v1 during split pushing. So that's why tanks are having a hard time right now. It's my understanding anyway. But there's going to be like a front line or a kind of a skirmishing area where ADCs are going to be trying to hit during the follow-up engage those that are closest to them, because they can't actually like shoot the back line, right? They have to hit what's in front of them. And at that point, that's when assassins are trying to get flanks or get behind the enemy team during the team fight. And at this point, they kind of have like two options. They can either, if the front line gets chipped away enough, they can engage, like blow full combo, and try to like burst out one of those bruisers, one of those frontliners, and finish them off. And then they can Zonias as kind of like a zoning Zonias, so that you like keep people from going back onto your team or going onto you. And then you should be able to, at that point, be able to get another full combo off or escape while you have, hopefully, full health as an assassin. And then the second option that you have is where if you get the good flank or get behind the enemy team, is you can just dive the back line. That's what's called flash bombing, where you immediately flash and use your full combo on like the ADC or a high priority target. Go ahead.
The kind of my idea, and this is sort of a weird analogy, but I always kind of picture it like predators on the savannah going after a herd of buffalo, right? The team fights the herd of buffalo, and you're looking for like the little weaklings on the side. So like people that are low that are trying to get away, or someone that like maybe their Leona engages. Look at that little AD carry back there, just no help, no hurt around her. So
Furious,
I always kind of pick
at their team.
Yeah. So I always picture it like there's the team fight that's a big circle, and then there's like periphery around it, and those are like the outlier data points. Those are those champions that are not quite in the mix, and those are the ones ideally you're going to find.
The outliers is the ones that you're looking to flash bomb, to blow up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Trying to either condense the fight as much as possible, so keep as many outliers in the like kind of massive people, so that your AD carry can hit as many people as possible, and your tanks can CC as many people as possible. Or if they do stray out from in the kind of cluster of people who are in the quote-unquote team fight, then you can take them out if they stray too far from that kind of center, like nexus of people.
Okay. And so would you guys agree then that like those are the main two options? Is like you can kind of go in on the front side once the tanks and bruisers have been softened up enough, or you can kind of like try to get your flanks, or do you always go through the flank, or there's a third method for you guys? Does this depend on what champion you're playing? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I would say it is champion dependent, for sure. There are some champions that flank a lot better than others. I play a lot of LeBlanc, and she flanks really, really well. She has a, like, later into the game, mid-game, whenever you have your first ability max, like after level 9, you have your W maxed on LeBlanc, which is the dash ability, and you can you can dash around to a flank and have it up again relatively quickly, so that you can engage with the AOE dash ability to get onto the back line afterwards. So that champion flanks really well. But something like a Fizz or something like that maybe wants to either take more time to set up the flank, or try and use their higher mobility that's based on like moving through other champions, dashing to champions. So that's
Sure.
things like a Kali or Fizz. You want to move through those enemy champions to get to the back line secondarily. Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to rely on a flank with Fizz. You can just troll pull and dash and flash, and you're in. Yeah.
Right. Generally, you want to use your troll pull to like dodge CC abilities.
Okay.
So that can be really useful. If you walk at a tank and they use a CC ability, you can jump it and dodge it, and then proceed to kill the other guy.
Yeah, that's another big thing and a good point. When you're that assassin that's looking to go in, if you have the ability to wait for the big CC to be blown,
Right.
It's kind of. I can't help but use analogies, but like you'll see like people playing double dutch, and it's like when do I jump into the jump rope? When do I jump into the jump rope? And then you find that exact right moment, and that right moment is often right when the big cooldowns have gone on. That'll prevent you from getting your skills on.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a game of cat and mouse to see, especially usually on like each enemy team that you're going to be against as an assassin player. There's like only one or two abilities that you really need to keep an eye on that are going to kill you, and they're usually fairly obvious. So big crowd control abilities, that's your main weakness as an assassin, is you build mostly damage, so you get killed by crowd control abilities because it doesn't take much after your crowd control to kill you.
Sure.
So things like an Amumu ulti or a Malphite ulti, or like
Anything Galio does.
yeah, anything Calio does, Leona stuff, Alistar combo, things like that. You're just waiting to see those come out, and then it makes your job a lot easier if you can go in the window where those things are down.
Okay. So, is there like, at what points are you, so let's say they have a really heavy CC team. Like, let's say it's Lysandra and Amumu, and I mean, even a fucking brand support or something, Maokai. Like, in that case, like, do you just wait till all those cooldowns are blown? Like, are you counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abilities are down, or like, are you trying to get picks more? Like, what's your thought process there?
I mean, during those scenarios, a lot of the time you're just waiting for someone to step out of line, because there's too many things that you have to wait on to come out.
Yeah.
There's too many abilities to dodge or wait on cooldowns or whatever. You kind of have to just look for the opening, like we were talking about earlier. Look for the stragglers that are off on the side of the team fight. You can't wait too long to just not do anything in the team fight, and then it's over, and then you've done nothing.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part of Assassins to play, is team fighting, right? Because you're so susceptible to death that, if you go in a split second too early and you eat that Amumu ult, not only are you squishy and in the middle, but everyone's like, fuck that guy. He killed me 3 times this game already. That's the one I want. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it harkens back to another thing you talked about earlier, kind of in passing when you were kind of outlining this stuff, Zil, is that you talked about people buying Zhonya's Hourglass.
Sure.
On AP champions. It's okay. Zhonya's is insane. It's a crazy item, by the way.
Right.
If you're not building Zhonya's Hourglass on an AP champion, you probably should be most of the time. You can also build Banshee's Veil. It's a little bit more niche, especially against champions that have like 1 CC ability. But
The real
yeah, Zhonya's
doucher
is
part
really
about
good.
Banshees is Luden's Echo fucks it up so bad.
Yeah.
It's like my teammate got hit and I'm really far away from him, but my Banshees is gone because I would have
Still
taken
dead.
8 damage.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, Zhonya's allows you to take that engage into a bunch of guys with CC, and as long as you can do a little bit of damage, maybe get your ulti off before you get hit by a CC ability, you can Zhonya's, and then you create this big zone of pressure around you that kind of no one can walk in, especially no one squishy
Sure.
can walk into. And that forces the team fight kind of cluster to split up, and it forces their squishy targets to move backwards, and then their tanks have to make a choice. They either have to walk up at you
Right.
to kill you once your Zhonya's is done, or they have to walk back, and then your AD carry is getting free damage to hit them, which is super beneficial for your team.
Sure.
One thing that I think maybe goes overlooked a little bit, but the timing on your Zhonya's, especially like I play Fizz and Diana quite a bit, and both of them have reasonably short cooldowns. So when you're an assassin champion with pretty short cooldowns, your inclination is blow all your cooldowns, hit Zhonya's, right? But that's the moment where chaos is going on, and you might be able to wait like a second and a half. Fizz is a good example. If you wait that extra second and a half, and get an auto attack or 2 off, and then Zhonya's, your E should be back up, so you can jump back out if you have to.
Right.
So, you're far more likely to get blown up coming out of Zhonya's than you are in the couple seconds after you did your big burst before you Zhonya's. So, minding, but Zhonya's 3 seconds? Is it 2.5 or 3?
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
Okay, so 2.5
and
seconds.
GA is 3, I think.
Hmm.
So like, let's say you're Fizz with a 6-second cooldown on your E. Well, if you blow your E, and then like auto attack Q, and then get one more auto in before you Zhonya's, your E will probably be back up, and you'll fucking live. And that's
Right.
great. You want to do that.
Yeah.
Want to live
One of
as
the
an
things we'll
assassin.
talk about later is not dying. You want to not die. It's good in League of Legends.
I'm a big fan of that philosophy. Yeah.
But
So
also, don't be a bitch and never die. Like, sometimes dying's worth it. I want to reiterate that every single time we talk about dying or not dying.
okay. So
I
when
wanna
you
actually
when
talk
you
about that
choose,
real quick.
yeah, go ahead. Actually, that's good.
As an assassin, you don't want to die. And you sometimes have to die, but it's better to let someone else die than you die. So, let me explain a little bit.
Sure.
It's okay to wait on your engage. We talked about kind of like playing that little dance before you engage in a team fight. It's okay to let somebody die on your team if it's going to mean that a lot of people on the enemy team are going to get kind of low to kill them, and then you can come in and clean up the people who are low after they've killed that priority target besides you. Assassins do really well at, kind of as a general rule, at killing 1 or 2 people from full health, or you can kill like 3 or 4 people from a quarter or half health. And so if you wait for a bunch of people to die and then clean up the rest of them, then maybe you and 1 or 2 other members of your team come out on top of the team fight and go get an objective, which is that's a really one team fight at that point.
Yeah, and kind of the opposite end of that is if they have 15 kills on their team and 11 of them are on Jinx, and you can kill Jinx, it's totally cool for you to die for that.
Yep.
Like, if there's one person that's super priority and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go down, but I'm definitely gonna get him, or I'm 90% gonna get him, fucking go, die, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, 80% plus, go for it.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess another question I had about assassins is, so as you're playing mid lane, typically as an assassin, Brad, you're playing from jungle usually, I assume, but
Jungle and mid are my 2 main, so yeah.
okay, sure. So as a mid laner, I find it, as a mage, actually, I'm finding it really difficult to deal with kind of the bruiser meta, whereas in, like, it doesn't matter how many spell rotations I have, like, I can't seem to kill a bruiser before they can kill me, especially because a lot of these bruisers are pretty high mobility, or at least in comparison. I don't know. How do you deal with like this bruiser meta as an assassin, where there's like lots of skirmishing going on and not as much like front to back team fights? Um, like, so you have like an Aurelia and a Camille. Camille's in the jungle, Aurelia's top lane, and you guys are fighting over Scuttle or whatever. Like, what do you do as an assassin in those types of skirmishes?
So this is gonna sound stupid.
Okay, it might be a stupid question. I don't know though. So,
But no, you're good. But when they have tanks or a bunch of bruisers on the team, especially if it's like a Yasuo AD carry.
sure.
The big thing playing an assassin is getting ahead early.
Right.
So
There we go.
if you're laning against the Ziggs and you're not gonna be able to kill him because he's just gonna sit super far back, you gotta move. You gotta move early and get to other lanes and make stuff happen. Kill the bruisers before they get their tank items. Find ways to stay gold-wise ahead, because if you have more damage than they're able to buy defenses, ideally you can help snowball your other lanes and get them going, because there are going to be times where you're very infrequently, but you're playing Zed and there's no one on the other team you can one shot if you don't make moves early, if you just sit in lane till level 7.
Right.
So look for opportunities to find people before they get their tank stats.
And that has to do with roaming mostly then, especially for mid laners.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Sorry to move away from team fights.
Zil, do you want to preface the other video that that we were going to talk about before we get into bruisers? Because I think, like all the roaming and kind of skirmishy stuff.
Okay.
Is really good to talk about in that context.
That's great. Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to talk about the next LOL Society video that comes up is about trying how to carry a game through having vision. And this is, of course, based on a lot of the other like basics, the fundamentals that have been laid down in previous videos. So, Agro, you can go ahead since you went through this. You can kind of lead us through what this is going to be.
Yeah, so a lot of the main points that the video talks about is, one, that you can have really good KDAs a lot of games, especially on Assassins. Assassins are really easy to get like a lot of kills on and still lose the game.
Sure.
Which is something I do too frequently. Like 17-5, I'm so good at Fizz, and we lost by a lot.
Right.
And a big part of getting ahead, like Brad just talked about, is reaction roaming early game, and you can only do that through vision. So the video is called Carrying Through Vision. Establishing early vision is really important. Warding like around key early objectives, so that's like scuttle crabs or maybe buffs that you think you can contest with your jungler, and then you just try and set up those early leads for yourself. So if you have better vision than the enemy team, you can just go and bring, maybe they have a bruiser like you were talking about, Zil, that you don't think you can 1v1, or you don't even think you can 2v2 with your jungler. Well, if you bring an extra person to the team fight, or to the little skirmish that you're going to have, you bring a support or a top laner that gives you a numbers advantage, then hey, you're in there and you can do stuff super, you can take that skirmish really effectively, especially since bruisers get countered by just having more people.
Right.
Things like Darius or Riven are really good at killing you by yourself and really not that good at killing like 3 people at once.
I feel like Darius is pretty good at killing lots of people, but yeah. I see your point. Like I think of Fiora, right? And like Fiora's gonna have a hard time with that kind of thing.
Yeah, the grand duelist, not so good at the 3v3.
Right. Okay. All right.
So yeah, just you want to set up early vision around those objectives, and then come in with a numbers advantage or just extra information over your enemy team.
And kind of if we roll vision into roaming and getting ahead as an assassin, getting pink wards in the river, especially on the bot side, is very important for 2 reasons. One, obviously you know if anyone's around or if they're following. But more importantly, you leave and then you come back to that pixel bush and they start to come down to follow your roam, then you know that they don't know you're there, and you can get your burst off on that mid laner that's following you, or that jungler that's gonna chase you down. So having priority on like a sneak attack basically.
Yeah, no, I've been surprised by that shit more than once as a squishy mage trying to follow my mid laner assassin bed down to the bot lane.
Yep, and they just
Which is
stop.
what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You should be reacting and roaming. That's one of the main things that it talks about is these reaction roams. You see something happening because you're watching your mini map, because that's something that we all are supposed to be doing as good League of Legends.
I'm a big fan of watching the minimap.
Yeah.
If you can play the game watching the minimap, like that's excellent. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, so you're just watching that mini map. As soon as you see something about to go down, you just head that way. You give up, 5, 6 CS, whatever is okay.
Yep.
Give up. Now, if you're giving up like 30 CS, that's not possible. But like 12 CS.
It's also rare to do that. Usually you have probably better wave clear than the assassin that you're going against. It's usually when the control mage might be able to get an extra wave on you or something. But
on any champion.
On any champion. Okay.
Yeah, you want to be moving towards any team, any fight that you see, just because of what I talked about earlier. Giving your team that early numbers advantage in the fight. It's going to give you a huge leg up over the enemy team.
So, I don't often talk about YouTube content creators on the show because I honestly don't watch a ton of it. But
Sure.
Today, I saw the first game of a Iron to Diamond series like posted already, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool! I'm gonna watch the first one." And it was this guy Huzzy from
Yeah.
yeah,
I know
He
Huzzy.
was playing Fizz, and he had in the lobby his AD carry said, "Give me mid or I'm trolling," and he said no. And then they played Aurelia and Fed super hard. I think at the end of the game, Aurelia had less than 2k damage and Fizz had like 25k. But
Dear Lord.
basically what he did was he was like, yeah, I don't care about CSing this game. Like I'm going to try to get some. But what I'm mostly going to do is go make sure that my bot lane in particular, doesn't just ruin the game. He's like, so my CS is going to be shit, and that's okay, because I'm going to get gold from kills, and I'm going to make sure that we don't lose the game before I have a chance to win it.
Huh.
And as an assassin, especially as like Fizz, who does a bunch of AoE stuff, you have the opportunity to do that. So if you recognize, like, oh, bot's 0-3 at 4 minutes, we're going to have to do something about that, then ding 6 and just run. Like, don't worry about the wave. Like, if you're gonna give up first turret or something, or like 2 waves stacked up slow push.
Sure, there's limits, but I get your point. Yeah.
But especially in lower elo, 10 CS doesn't mean that much.
Yeah.
But the morale of getting a double kill on the bot lane means a whole lot. So,
Well, double
The feelings of your teammates mean a lot.
the 600 gold for kills is more than like 5 waves of minions.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's close, right? And then you also have assist gold on top of that you can get for your team as well. So,
and they're not like, fuck, man,
yeah,
go next, fuck.
man, he got 2 waves of minions. Just go next. He's 30 CS up or something.
GG,
No one does
it's
that.
over.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Plus, you're getting shutdown gold if they're like 0-3, right? The shutdown gold's
don't
pretty.
let your team bleed out. That's the big thing. Like,
Okay.
better to sacrifice a little bit for yourself, even if you don't wind up getting those kills, bot, right? Like, better
Yeah.
to make them not feel like the game's totally fucked than to just be like, well, I'm up 15 CS, so I'm winning my lane. This is on you. Like, fuck that guy. Whoever says that, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And you can prevent a lot of bad stuff too by moving early. Like say a fight starts happening in bot lane, and you just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna leave the CS that I could get mid lane. I could get these 5 CS in this wave, but I'm gonna move even within vision of my opposing mid laner. I'm just gonna start walking that way. Well, the enemy team is gonna get pinged by their mid laner, and they're gonna say, hey, my guy's coming, I'm gonna stay in CS this, or my guy's coming before me, and then maybe you just avert that crisis. Maybe their jungler was coming, and it was gonna be, even if you were there, it was gonna be a 3v4 or whatever. You still averted that crisis just by moving before your opponent.
Right.
Also, if you're being a good League of Legends player and watching your minimap, as we all do consistently,
Yeah.
don't finish that jungle camp when you see a dive happening.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
Ugh.
go.
Please don't.
I mean, if you're on the top side and it's a bot lane dive, sure. But if you're within the zone of influence where you might be able to help a good amount, fucking go. Like,
Yeah.
leave that small wolf. It's fine. Let it go.
Yeah, no, we kind of talked about this from the mid lane perspective last podcast, and it was when your jungler is in trouble as a mid laner and they're at scuttle, you just go. You leave the wave. It doesn't matter. You just go. They're very like close to you, and you need to help because that can make or break a game right there. Is if your jungler gets fucked over at like level 3.
And it might go really poorly. You might both die, and then you're way behind.
Or you may not do anything. Your presence may just escort them out. But like you need to go to that player to help them out. This is a team game. Those are very crucial levels to worry about as a mid laner. As a jungler, like the same thing is what Brad's saying. Like,
because here's the biggest thing. As a person that plays mid and jungle almost exclusively, if I'm jungle and my mid laner comes to help me, I'm like, yeah, that's my guy. I'm gonna go help that guy all the time. Guess who's getting fed this game? You, buddy. You're getting fucking fed.
Right.
And if they don't, I'm like, oh, especially if it's top lane and they don't come down and help, I'm like, I get it. Oh,
you thought this was an island before. It's a
those 2
continent
other
now.
minions. I'm not even clear on the top side of the jungle for the rest of the game. Fuck you.
So
Which,
if I move,
I
Brad,
get
do I
it.
get blue
It's
buffs?
petty, but also fuck that guy. Yeah, you can have blue. You can,
Hey!
what? Zillion could have red buffs. I don't give a fuck. You come help me get a couple scuttles, and I don't know, maybe somehow we pick up a kill. Dude, fucking take my wraiths, take my wolves. I'll just buy you items and bring them to you.
Buy you skins after the game. You know, all that
Yeah.
shit.
Exactly. You
Swag,
do that.
free swag from Brad. Awesome.
Also, you just said take my wraiths. One, they're chickens now, by the way. No, but two,
we still
that's
call them
really-
pink wards, by the way.
Yeah, pink wards. Yeah. No, but that's a really good thing to point out for mid laners. It's super important especially if your jungler is not performing that well. Just go and take their wraiths. That's like the easiest camp to take as a mid laner. Usually, you have like a good AOE ability, and you can get yourself a lot of extra CS if you just clear your wave, go take wraiths. Clear your wave, go take wraiths.
Wow, spicy calls from aggro.
Alternatively-
Jesus Christ.
Alternatively, if they are performing well, don't take all their shit. Like,
Yeah, true.
like that said, okay, so there's a couple different ends of this, right? If they're sucking dicks, take their shit. If not super early though, like if they're like 0-1,
Not super early,
like,
yeah.
like don't
Yeah.
ruin their clears, right? But if you're like doing pretty well and they're not doing so hot later in the game, like take their stuff. If you're doing super poorly, don't ask for blue buff. Like
Yeah.
you're just giving it away. And then kind of the middle ground is like if you're both doing okay, you're like, hey man, can I take this? And almost every time they're either gonna say nothing, in which case you asked and they didn't respond, that's on them, or they're gonna be like, yeah, dude, whatever.
Sure, right. No, I find it's not wise to piss off the jungler. A lot of the game relies on their ability to remain calm when making decisions and ganking, but yeah, there is a limit to that, I think.
Most specifically, don't take a camp if they're very close to it. Like, like if I'm walking from, if we're blue side and I'm walking from red buff towards wraiths and you take them, first of all, you're gonna make me waste smite because I'm getting the big one. Second of all, I'm gonna hate you.
Hell hath no fury, like Brad, who has to waste smite on a big one.
I don't like doing it. Not a fan. Also, don't fucking take early scuttle crabs from the jungler. I've had it happen way too many times recently, where it's like contested and they're like, I'm just gonna last hit it. That's worth a lot more to the jungle than it is to the mid, but go fuck yourself, I guess.
Yeah, it's like 60 more gold, right?
It's a substantial chunk of gold and XP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, XP.
With the jungle item, yeah, and until recently, I don't know, I was playing that, but not since they've refixed the funneling, and I can't buy jungle items early. Oh well. So,
So we talked about the roaming part of that vision video.
Okay.
The second part of the vision video is the vision part.
Okay, cool.
And we talked about kind of wards and what you want to do with them early. Side note, my favorite ward in the entire game is, as a mid laner, you put a ward in their chicken camp. Just like you push up your wave, put a ward in their chicken camp. That ward will win you games by itself. You know when they're doing chickens, you can go take their chickens. You know when they're coming to gank you through that little brush on the side of the lane. Like, it's a great ward. You should put that ward down if you're mid lane.
Also, they're not even fucking called chickens. That's a colloquialism.
They're called raptors, okay?
Yeah, you corrected me on using the old term, and you're not using one that doesn't even exist. Don't take my big golem, you dick.
Yeah, don't you mean you're rude, dude? Come on. No. But, so the other part of vision is denying vision, and the video puts this really, really well. It says that warding you should be doing when you're behind, or like really early game, right? Everyone starts the game with their trinket ward, but as soon as you start winning the game, you should upgrade to, or change to the sweeping lens as soon as possible. Denying vision, making people walk into places that are unsafe, face check bushes, just be generally unsafe on the map is a great way to snowball your lead, and that will win you the game more than being 17-5 on Cosmos or whatever.
I would argue.
Sometime. It'll win you some games that you couldn't win just by being 17-5 on Cosmos.
No, so I do think that's an interesting element. Who gets sweeper, who gets blue trinket, who keeps their yellow trinket. Like, I play a lot of Lee Sin, so I'm keeping the fucking yellow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've been playing other junglers recently, and I'm torn on when it's more valuable for me to get vision than it is for me to deny vision. Do you guys have any like rule? Like, do you look at what your teammates have when you make that decision? Are you like, oh, my support's not really warding that well, maybe I hang on to this warding trinket for 1 or 2 extra backs? Or what's your thought process?
For me, when we're losing the vision game, I get a sweeper, and that's my rule. Because like, if we're both blind, then it's an even matchup for me. But it's when they have vision and my vision is not as good that I find that we tend to lose team fights more often as a result, or get picked off. I'm a mid laner. I don't know if I'm supposed to take sweeper. I really don't know what the rules are. But like, for me, I always get sweeper whenever we're like losing the vision game, and I notice it.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
Okay.
You're the mid, right? You're the mid. Your jungler has sweeper, your support has sweeper and the warding item. Your AD carry and top lane have blue trinket. Do you stay with the yellow just for the sake of having it?
I think in that case I would stay with the yellow. However, to be fair, I never see people actually pick blue trinket. Like, if I do, it's an ADC who usually knows what they're doing, or it's a mid laner and I'm like playing support. But like, rarely do I see people pick blue trinket. It seems to be between yellow and sweeper, and I am totally okay with having 3 sweepers on my team if it means that the enemy team doesn't get any vision of us. And yeah, we may not have vision of them, but I'm fine with that.
I think the swap to sweeper or blue trinket, I think depends more on the state of the game than it does with what your team has.
Okay.
So I actually will disagree with you, Zil. I think
That's fine.
That getting a sweeper when you're losing is worse, because that requires you to, one, walk into places that you already don't have wards to clear out enemy wards, or maybe you do have wards.
I do play a champion that can throw bombs and get vision in bushes, which is what I do. So it might be a little bit different. So you play your play style versus mine, what champions we play. But
I think as most, especially mid laners, I think it's better to keep your yellow or go to blue trinket if you're really losing. When you're behind, I think having wards is better when you're behind. It allows you to stay safer in the smaller, because the map contracts around you when you're losing, right? You lose towers, the map gets smaller for you, so it's easier for you to keep vision in the small pockets that you still can fight in.
Okay.
So it's better to kind of control those vision areas. But if you're winning, man, buy a freaking sweeper and just go ham, kill wards, man. If you kill like 30 wards and win the game, man, you won the game for your team. If you killed 30 wards, like
Yeah.
that item is so good if you're ahead. It makes people do the dumbest stuff if they can't see you and they're losing because they get desperate and then they just walk into a bush and die because you're any champion.
Right.
And 2 levels up on them. Like,
Right.
You could be Thresh, and if you're 2 levels up on them, they just die.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. Well, I think we'll have to. I need to try those things out for myself. I think it might be a little bit champion specific, but yeah, that's a good way of thinking of that.
Always exceptions.
Sure.
But the other thing, with even if you're playing Zillion and you can throw bombs into a bush, like being able to walk all the way through the jungle knowing that there's no one or no wards or nothing stealth before you get around the wall or around the corner is pretty huge. And sweeper being dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stealth element's definitely good. Because I guess it works as like a pseudo ward if you just have sweeper and you're walking around. I guess that's something I didn't consider.
Yeah, because you get a ton of vision, especially like.
I find it that at that point, like Baron fights are becoming particularly something you're trying to set up for, right? And it's like, if I can make sure that they don't have wards on our side, like say they're I forget what color it is, but the bottom side.
Blue side would be
blue
the
side.
left,
There we
and
go.
Red side being the right.
Yeah,
side.
right. Blue side then. Say they're blue side, and like we have more sweepers, right? We can keep them from warding over the wall, so that when they try to take Baron, they have the threat of us being able to steal, and they can't adequately do that.
And if they're denying vision, like let's say you're blue side and you're taking Baron, and they have like a pink ward in the brush outside of their red, right?
Sure.
So they're killing any wards you put over the wall.
Mhm.
If you pop your sweeper, you still see if anyone's on that side of the Baron wall.
Yeah.
That's undeniable vision.
Yeah.
I think that's good to know, but at the same time, if you're losing and you get close enough to see someone with the sweeper vision, you might already be dead.
Without a wall between
I
you.
was talking about when you're winning. Sorry, I was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Like if you're pressuring Baron and you can't like they're denying your vision outside of the Baron pit while you're taking it. If you have the sweeper, you can at least see where they are.
Okay.
behind it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the inverse is true, and then they die if they get that close to you to try and.
Right.
Right.
You could jump on them, or you could just be like, okay, there's fucking Jarvan outside of the pit. We know they don't have wards in here. We see him there. When he throws his flag, we stop damaging Baron so he can't come in and steal it, and then we hold. And
Sure.
then once that flag goes away,
Yeah, or wait for the Lee Sin Q to time out on the objective
right,
or whatever.
exactly
you
on
want.
the nose. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that kind of covers most of the stuff that was in that vision video.
Okay.
I have one more thing I was just thinking of whenever we were talking about that stuff.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
noticed when Worlds was on, and like when I'm watching a lot of pro players play, like I tend to watch old streams of Faker or whatever because he's really good at the game.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know. He's some guy. But I'll see in the games that like people place pink wards, and this is something I don't know the answer to. People place pink wards and like don't kill the ward that they see with the pink ward. They just like leave it there because I know that it denies the vision anyways. But like, why not get the 30 gold? Especially like I just don't know why you wouldn't just go get the gold for the ward.
It depends for me. I feel like when I'm on kind of the like edge of danger, don't know if I need to be fighting soon or not. As a person who has a really slow auto attack, I just kind of leave it there out of habit. But what's your thought on that, Brad?
I think part of it is sometimes people will be more likely to notice you killing their ward, like
Yeah.
seeing the ward health tick down, rather than noticing that the vision's not there. So sometimes putting the pink, like let's say they have a ward in river and you pink tri-bush. You drop that pink, it kills their vision. You know that they don't know that you're there.
Right.
But if you go out and start killing the ward, that gives them more time to react to their vision being.
Right, especially if it takes me a long time to kill that ward, it's almost like constantly having my head pinged on that I'm there.
It could be 3 seconds.
Like,
Like,
one,
hey, there's
two,
someone here.
3, attacking
Also,
your
there's
ward.
definitely a pink ward in that bush because we don't see a sweeper.
Right.
Like, so I think that might be what it is just even leaving the ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just you're
calling
denying
attention to yourself.
information.
Yeah.
Right. And if 2 people kill it and it goes away like that, hey, we can't see him, but there's 2 people over there.
Right.
Yeah. The reason that I came up with for it, and I don't know if this is right, but like just opening yourself up to, if you go to kill, because the wards are going to be placed in favorable positions to the enemy laner, right? So if you're mid lane and you're warding your side bushes, then you're walking over and you're warding over a wall, so it's going to be closer to your side of the lane. So if I drop a pink ward on my side of that same bush, it's safe for me to stand by my pink ward, but it might not be safe for me to stand by the enemy
For sure.
ward to kill it, because a jungler could jump over the wall or whatever and kill me, and then I'm dead, and that's not good.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Or I'm in the fog of war and I see my ward losing health.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
it's better just to deny the vision without killing the ward, because it kills the ward without it going away, right? So
Right. And then two other thoughts that are kind of occurring to me. One, if you drop a pink ward and that ward's already at low health, well, you've already ruined that ward. Like, killing it, sure, you get the gold, but it's already useless. Like, it'll be gone by the time they could kill your pink ward anyways. And also, if you're dropping a pink ward on, like, let's say you're ganking bot, you drop a pink ward in the river bush and they had a ward there. Well, you can kill them and then go kill that ward.
yeah.
You,
I see
There's
people
time.
so often. They'll walk in a bush, they're ganking, they'll walk in a bush and see a ward, and they just stop moving and they kill the ward, and then I was in the lane and I was ready for the gank and I'm going in on my guy and then I'm dead and my guy's killing the ward.
gank broken.
He ganked that ward so hard,
Infuriating.
destroyed it utterly.
It really securing the vision game.
Right.
Um,
Awesome.
I want to give a quick shout out. We had someone pop in to our Discord this week and play some games with us. His name is Sasha, and his girlfriend, I believe girlfriend, sorry if it's a wife, my bad, but she makes these really dope, like, 2 to 4 inch tall, like, clay poros, like, herself, and paints them all, and they're really fucking awesome. She does them for different champions. She did a Baron one that was
Holy
almost
shit.
too realistic. And
ADA skins.
she has an Etsy shop that you can buy them all on, and they're really, really goddamn cool. She also has an Instagram, which I'm sure somehow links to her Etsy, and that's probably the easier one to share. So it's Purple Dino Diana, PurpleDinodiana, and I would really, really recommend that everyone go take a look at this. I'm considering picking one up. Some of them are just out of this world. There's a Lee Sin one that I feel like I must have, and she even does like kindred keychains that are like the little wolf. If you get a chance, Purple Dino Diana on Instagram, or you can check her out on Etsy. I'm sure if you go on Etsy and search like Clay Poro figure or something, but it looks like something that Riot would have made. It's awesome. I think she even said, and I may be mistaken, but I think she said that the big Baron that she made is going to go into like the Riot Studios. So this is like professional quality, really awesome figures. Definitely check it out.
I
Awesome.
just want to eat the little poro snack that she made for the little like.
That's not for you. That's
good.
not for people.
I know it's just a poro snack. I'm not a poro. I understand this.
Yeah. But you know, you gotta have dreams. So
Plus, if you were to like grow larger and then pop into multiple aggros, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we can
I
handle
could
it.
play a whole team by myself. It's the thing everyone says, right? I can only play all 5 positions. I do it every game.
Clash victory sealed. Ranked flex.
Exactly.
Victory sealed.
Just
Excellent.
enter my team in the LCS. All aggros.
And also, guys, if this stuff looks really cool to you, let her know on Instagram, and I believe she said she was considering doing some like YouTube videos of progress of her making them, maybe. So
Okay.
the more we support, the more cool stuff she's gonna put out, and yeah, let's support other dope ass League content.
That sounds great, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I love dope ass and league content.
All right, guys, I got some good news.
In which order?
Ass, then dope, then league content.
Ass then league. Okay, I'm down.
That's with dope. Yeah, that adds up. Checks out.
Yeah.
Guys, I got some great news just a second ago. So, the game I played that I lost terribly, I did report my jungler for feeding. He went 4-16.
Yes.
And I got an instant feedback report that said that he was issued a penalty for his poor behavior, his inting.
Dude, thanks a fucking lot.
What?
That's
Not
better
you.
than winning.
Someone awful. Not you, Brad. You're great.
Some other guy that's awful.
It's the correct response. You belong here. It's official.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight. So thank you guys for joining us and giving some commentary on Assassins and team fighting and all that. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate coming out.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, everybody.
Hit us up on the Discord. Join community games Wednesday night. We've been getting 2-3 games going at a time. It's been really awesome.
There's been a million people there.
Wednesday nights. Zill, what time is it? 8.
8 p.m. Central Standard
Central?
Time for community games on Wednesday nights. Yeah, just come out. I will unlock the rooms at 7:55, and you will have a chance to join. And then games will be created from there. So, yeah, come on out. It's a lot of fun.
Lisa, and you get banned from the Discord. So,
That's how it
something
works.
to consider.
But also, there's games going pretty much all the time, especially after like 6 p.m. CST. Pretty much every night, we got people playing the game because they like the game, and it's
Yeah.
fun to play with people.
It's great to play with people you know, and the community here is honestly the best thing about LOLA. So, love to have you guys out.
Except for that Blake guy.
Except for that Blake guy.
Who's that?
On that note, good evening, everyone. We'll see you all later.
Good night, everybody!